Welcome to the video, guys. As most of you likely know, Boris Johnson was moved to intensive care yesterday as his condition apparently deteriorated to the point he was given oxygen but not placed on a ventilator. So if reports are to be believed, he is not in a good way, but obviously not quite as bad as saying he's in intensive care would suggest. With the BBC and everyone else and their mother reporting on this last night and throughout today, saying coronavirus, Boris Johnson moved to intensive care as symptoms worsen. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been moved to intensive care in a hospital after his coronavirus symptoms worsened, Downing Street has said. He's actually in St Thomas's Hospital, which, as you can imagine, now has a police guard around it. A spokesman said he was moved on the advice of his medical team and was receiving excellent care. Well, it's across the bridge from the Houses of Parliament, and whenever I've had to use it, which to be honest is not often, I can't say I've ever had any problems or especially long wait times. And I expect, as the Prime Minister, he had zero wait time, so he's likely getting a lot better level of care than I was. And obviously, I didn't need intensive care. Mr Johnson asked Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab to deputise where necessary, the spokesman added. The Prime Minister, 55, was admitted to hospital in London with persistent symptoms on Sunday evening, which is something I didn't cover because I actually expected more to come from it. Either they would have released him the next day, or the situation we have now would have occurred, which obviously it has. The Queen has been kept informed about Mr Johnson's health by Number 10, according to Buckingham Palace. BBC political correspondent Chris Mason said the Prime Minister was given oxygen late on Monday afternoon, before being taken to intensive care, so he was given oxygen before moved to the intensive care unit. However, he has not been put on a ventilator, as I said. A Number 10 statement read, the Prime Minister has been under the care of doctors at St Thomas's Hospital in London, after being admitted with persistent symptoms of coronavirus. Over the course of Monday afternoon, the condition of the Prime Minister has worsened and, on the advice of his medical team, he has been moved to the intensive care unit at the hospital. It continued, the PM is receiving excellent care and thanks all NHS staff for their hard work and dedication. And here we have Raab talking about chairing the meeting. We don't really care about that. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer described it as terribly sad news. All of the country's thoughts are with the Prime Minister and his family during this incredibly difficult time, he added. With even US President Donald Trump saying Americans are all praying for his recovery. He described Mr Johnson as a very good friend of mine and a friend to our nation, who is strong and doesn't give up. And words of support have been going around quite a lot that I have seen. But obviously, this is politics, and in 2020, not everyone, it seems, is wishing Boris well. In fact, a fair old few are actually hoping he dies. Which, it doesn't matter what your political persuasions are, should never be something you do. Even Jeremy Corbyn, as someone who has supported groups that have killed British citizens, I still wouldn't wish him dead, because it's a disgusting thing to do. But as the BBC are reporting here, we have Mayor apologises for PM deserves this comments, which I think you will agree is an especially stupid thing to do, but really does not surprise me in this day and age. A town mayor has apologised for saying Prime Minister Boris Johnson completely deserves this after he was admitted to intensive care. Sheila Oakes, a Labour councillor and Mayor of Aindow in Derbyshire, made the comments below a Facebook post about the news. Miss Oakes, local Labour Party leader, said she was appalled and said there would be an inquiry. But her being a Labour Party councillor, I'm sure surprises absolutely none of you. Must be more of the Corbynated chickens, kinder, gentler politics, showing his legacy still remains within this septic spot on the arse of humanity that is called a political party. She has since apologised and accepted she made a mistake. Oh yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. In response to a post asking people to say a little prayer for the Prime Minister on Monday night, Miss Oakes had written, "Sorry, he completely deserves this, and he is one of the worst PMs we've ever had." Well, actually, considering his approval rating is through the roof at the moment, I wouldn't say he's the worst Prime Minister we've ever had, that is for sure. I will say, Sheila, your ideological leader, the Corbinated Chicken, is the worst Prime Minister the UK never had. On Tuesday, Miss Oakes said she apologised for upsetting people and saying it. You shouldn't be apologising for upsetting people, you should apologise for being such a piss poor human being. And then apologise to Boris Johnson's family, who would obviously be upset if you got what you wanted. She told the BBC, "I didn't think that what I said would upset so many people. It came across as not a nice thing to say. Yes, because you believe your Twitter echo chamber, where you think everybody hates the Prime Minister, once again proving that what you see on Twitter or Facebook does not represent the real feeling around the country. I'm concerned about nurses and doctors who don't have protective equipment," she said. "I said something when I was angry without thinking about the Prime Minister or his family." Oh, a nice way to try and deflect it there, using NHS doctors as an excuse for you being an abhorrent cunt. Chris M.S. Williams, the leader of Amber Valley Labour Group, said there would be an investigation into Miss Oakes' conduct. He said the behaviour is totally unacceptable and not what the Labour Party are about. Well, apparently that's what they've been about for a while now. I don't know if you missed the memo, Chris. Me, personally, I'm quite used to Labour Party members acting like this. I've not made the comments, but I feel, as leader of the Labour group, I have to apologise as well to Boris Johnson and his family. And we wish him well, because we need everyone possible to fight this disease. But it's not just Labour councillors that are showing Corbyn's kinda gentler politics. Because of course, we have Twitter, which is absolutely full of them. Here, we have a nice one obviously, because even the majority of Twitter seems to be actually supporting Boris. Even a bunch of FPBE anti-Brexit losers are still supporting the PM. Because I guess they're human beings before they were Remoaners. But obviously we always have some. One here saying they're getting ready to party, replying of course to the news that Boris Johnson was in intensive care. And then everyone's favourite shitweasel, Terry Christian. Boris is in intensive care, but still been passed fit for work by the DWP. Now, while that is probably a joke, we all know Terry Christian's feelings when it comes to old people, coronavirus, and those who voted for Brexit. So, Boris Johnson is in there as he was leading the charge to get Brexit done. And here obviously is the screen cap of Sheila Oakes saying what she said, which we just see in the article. Along with this imbecile, I choose to wish death upon Boris Johnson over silence. Fuck Boris, I hope he fucking dies. What a fucking loser you are, mate. Then we have here someone with a blue check mark. Look, if Boris passes away, I won't say a nice word about him. No one expects you to. But on the other hand, do I want him to die? Yes. That there is a scumbag if you ask me. Because while I absolutely despise Jeremy Corbyn and everything he stands for, I still don't wish ill on the scumbag at the end of the day. I would like to see him arrested for his crimes against the people of this country by supporting every group that hates our guts, but that's just me. I still wouldn't wish the guy dead or want any harm to come to him. And here we have the old EU-loving usual ones. Like I said, some FBPE or whatever they're called was actually supporting Boris and being a human being first. But of course, there is always one or two, because we know the left love their kinda gentler politics. And finally, we'll end it on this one, which is yet again another idiot trying to celebrate Boris Johnson being in intensive care. Now, as I've said, it's not the majority of the so-called lefties that are doing this, it is a small minority. But these scumbags need to be called out nonetheless. Because if it was their family member in this situation, I'm sure they wouldn't want people wishing them to die, that is for sure. Now, hopefully Boris Johnson is obviously alright and he can get back to sorting this shit show out soon. Now before I go, I've started doing live streams and uploading gaming content on my second channel. If you would like to come and join me for a live stream to chat in real time, have an interest in gaming related content on YouTube, or just want to follow me over there because you are a legend, the link will be down in the video description below and as a pinned comment. I hope to see you all there. Now as always, before I go, I want to thank our PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar and YouTube members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot, and I will see you all in the next one.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.